Welcome to the Arsenal show. We are live, and Arsenal's injury woes have been compounded. We're doubling down. We don't do things by half at Arsenal. Ricardo Calafiori out. Martin Odegaard out. Who next? With no Declan Rice, injuries all over the place. Tomiyasu. What are Arsenal going to do with the big games coming up? They've got Tottenham, Atalanta, Manchester City. Is the season over for Arsenal already? People are worried. I'm joined by Bjorn. I'm joined by Steve K. How is everyone doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
Hearing yourself.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm seeing all those things as well. Arsenal fans. Yeah, that's it. The end is nigh. Finish it now. So, yeah, bit crazy, but yeah. Overreactionary Arsenal fans. Oh, never that, are we? Never that.
I mean, Steve, we lost our captain. we lost Declan Rice due to some refereeing errors. Well, not errors, the inconsistencies, should we say? It's been a stressful week. We sit down. We're hoping that we can enjoy the Nations League. We can sit down and enjoy some international football.
Oh.
No, we sit there worrying about every single player that goes away. We're going to be talking about Martin Odegaard's injury, as well as all the other injuries that Arsenal have got before some really, really big games. A lot of talk online about Arsenal should play the game and find a way of getting their players out of international duty. And of course, we're going to be talking about the North London derby as well. The preview is coming up for one of the biggest games of the season for Tottenham, at least. Steve, first of all, we saw Martin Odegaard out the other day, the captain, fantastic. Before the game, he's being lauded about how it doesn't matter how many games he's played, he'll still turn up for his club and country, play 90 minutes, and the next thing you know, he's out injured, and it looks pretty bad as well.
Yeah, it does. It does look pretty bad. I've been trying to find out more today. How bad it is, but yeah, I'm sure we've all played the game, haven't we? And I think we've all twisted our ankles. I mean, I've done it multiple times. I'm still doing it even now. But they can be really bad. Even if you just twist it, you put it this way: there's a lot of Arsenal fans out there at the minute, and obviously, including myself. We're all hoping that some miraculous recovery is going to happen. He is going to be playing on Sunday. From experience with ankle injuries, he's got absolutely no chance of playing. I'm just hoping it ain't as serious as the type of ankle turns that I've had in the past, because people talking about weeks. I mean, I've been out for months in the past with them if they're really serious, and it's serious ligament damage. So we've got to wait on that. But yeah, look, Nations League. I was annoyed enough when all of a sudden you're 3 games in. We've had a decent start, and then you've got to all stop it, and you've got to go to this nonsense. For me, I hate these. For me, it's still a friendly game. I don't think they're needed, and this is the type of thing that happens from them. Calafiori's gone down, and now Odegaard's gone. I don't know how you said Calafiori's out. Is Calafiori out? Is he?
Is it like a calf injury? So I don't know.
Yeah,
but it did look like a calf injury.
Yeah, but yeah, look, none of us want our players to go and play in these needless friendlies. I don't think you can stop them, mate. I think it's, in the end of the day, I think it's, you've got to leave it up to the player. I don't think any manager wants to play them, but you can't, you can't stop them from playing. If I had my way, I'd just say, look, this is more important. We've got some big games coming up, like you've already mentioned. You just can't go, end of. But it's not like that. Players seem to think a lot of playing for their country, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to go. But yeah, this is big. We've got some big games coming up. It couldn't have come at a worse time. You've already mentioned Mourinho's already out. And we've got Tottenham and Man City away. I mean, you couldn't write it really before these international comes. You just knew it was going to come, and now there's all the worry about who's going to start, who's going to play, which we'll get into later. But no, it's not good. It's not good, mate.
Bjorn, it's frustrating that Arsenal have lost Martin Odegaard, but how big of a loss could this potentially be over these next few games?
I mean, it's a huge loss. Personally, I think our midfield is now looking very thin. Obviously, we lost Rice, we lost Marino, and now we've lost Martin Odegaard. So looking at Arsenal's midfield is a little bit of a scary situation going into, like Steve mentioned. I mean, we've got Spurs coming up this week and then Man City, arguably our two biggest games of the season. So it's not really an exciting way to end the international break. Let's just put it that way. And it's worrying. It's another worrying concern is that like Fabio Vieira going out on loan, he probably would have been the replacement for Odegaard in the side. Not having him, now you start wondering who's going to come in next. Are you going to have the young Ethan Nwaneri come in? I mean, I don't think it's fair on him to have a 17, 18-year-old come into that position straight away against Spurs. Also, you don't have Rice in the side, so you're losing another leadership aspect. So I think the loss of Odegaard is actually massive. And the fact that we don't really have a real second choice creative midfield in the side. I mean, Trossard possibly could play in that position. Then you're looking at, I've seen some rumors that Saka might be getting dropped, but I don't dropped into midfield, but I don't think that's the right choice to make. Because I think Saka on the right is arguably our best player. So keeping him in that position. Then there's been talks of Sterling coming in. So I think the loss of Martin Odegaard can't be understated. I mean, losing our captain as well. And I completely agree with Steve. I just think that these international games, especially considering the position Arsenal is, it's a bit pointless at the moment. I mean, does anyone really care about a Nations League game? I don't really think a lot of the Arsenal fans were really tuning in too much to the games. So, yeah, it's a bit concerning going into this game with the Arsenal midfield. I just don't know where we're going to find the numbers. Jorginho maybe could come in. Luckily, with the way Arteta set up his side, there's a lot of versatility. So we do have a few players that could mix and match. We can have someone maybe like Havertz drop back into the position. I saw rumors that Gabriel Jesus is fit and ready for the weekend, so that does help a little bit. If he's available, then Havertz can drop back into an attacking midfield role. But it's concerning. It's concerning that we've been picking up these injuries. There was talks about it last season as well, that we didn't have a lot of injuries, and that we were able to keep a consistent 11 going throughout the season. One injury here, one injury there. Rice not being able to play. I mean, it's a big conundrum for us, big conundrum for Arteta, and let's see what he does. I mean, I'm very intrigued to see what his starting 11 will look like this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get onto the Tottenham preview in a bit. On Ricardo Calafiori, Luciano Spalletti came out pretty soon afterwards and calmed those nerves after the match, saying Calafiori needs to be evaluated, but with our good doctors, there's a chance of him recovering. So it looks like he could be back in time for the North London derby. So a little bit of good news for Arsenal. Steve, where do you see Arsenal filling in the gap for Martin Odegaard? Obviously, he brings a lot to Arsenal's play. Many people would look at him as one of the main sources of creativity, but his off the ball work is as impressive as his on the ball work. Who do you see filling in that position?
Yeah, I've been thinking about. I mean, I have a funny feeling that would be the question you come up with today. So I've been rattling it around in my head. Look, there is, look, Arsenal are a good side. We're a good squad. We've got good players. So for me, there is a number of players you could put in there. But look, this is Tottenham away. It has to be the right type of player for me. Nothing's going to be perfect, is it? The Mourinho's not there, Rice is not there. Whatever we do is going to have to be like very makeshift. Something that we're going to be probably concerned about, and as the game starts and kicks off, we'll have our eyes on. Look, I've sort of, Bjorn said there, I've thought about Havertz. I've thought about Trossard. Saka moving in. None of them for this specific game sort of really grabbed me. What's something that did sort of come to my head was, and it's something that maybe Arteta are thinking about, or maybe it's something that I haven't seen mentioned. So maybe this is just me, and all the Arsenal fans are just going to be shouting at the screen, in a minute during the show, thinking, "Shut up! You don't know what you're talking about." But I personally, I'd play Gabriel Jesus there. I just look, Martin Odegaard, right? People keep calling him number 10. For me, he's not a 10, right? We compared him to Bergkamp in the past. For me, Odegaard's someone who's played during the game. Sometimes he pops up in the 6, sometimes he pops up in the 8, sometimes he pops up in the 10, sometimes he's in the box in the area. That's the type of role we do. He's an all-action sort of footballer. Gabriel Jesus. Ideally, I don't want to put Havertz, bring him back. I want to try and get Havertz to stay where he is if it's humanly possible. So the fact that Gabriel Jesus is fit, I think he could fit in there. He would give us that attacking, presence that Odegaard does. We all know Jesus works really hard and can get back and he can tackle and he's all over the place. When he's been our striker, we've called him out before by saying, stop doing that. But this is the time where we could say, okay, you've been doing that in this game, do that. So I think he gives you that. He's not an Odegaard, but I think he's the closest thing you can put there to him. That way you can keep Havertz as the centre forward because he's undoubtedly our best number 9 at the moment. And yeah, I've not heard anybody else say it. So I'm probably going to get everybody come to me and say, no, not really, Steve. It don't really make sense. To me, it does. And then we can keep Partey there and we can keep Jorginho there. And because it Spurs away, I think having those two there ain't going to be a bad thing. Because you're going to need to tighten up. You're going to want to win that midfield. You want to be strong in that midfield. But at the same time, we are missing that attacking threat. And I feel that if we put Havertz in there, I think it takes it a little bit away because ideally he's not a midfielder. And then we're rattling down with a thought of Nwaneri or bringing Saka and Trossard. I don't think that's better for me anyway than having Gabriel Jesus there. So to answer your question, mate, I'd put him there.
All right, Steve's going for Gabriel Jesus. How you doing, Melvin?
Good evening. Oh yeah, thanks for being patient. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Bjorn, fare properly.
It's fine. Bjorn, who do you fill in? Steve suggested that Arsenal try something different and go for Gabriel Jesus in that number 10 role. But who do you think should fit in instead of Martin Odegaard?
Jeez, it's such a difficult thing to predict or even to say because, like Steve mentioned, Odegaard's got like a free roll in the side. He pretty much pops up everywhere. We see his pressing capabilities. We see him in the attack with the ball. So replacing Odegaard is almost literally impossible, in my opinion. I think he's arguably top 5, if not one of the best. So top 5 players in the league. And then having to replace him is just such a difficult thing. I personally think that we'll probably see Havertz drop back into midfield just because Arteta initially signed him as a midfielder. So I think Arteta, even though Havertz has been performing, personally for me, I would prefer to have Havertz stay up top. But I just see him arguably possibly coming back into the midfield with Jesus taking the striker role. But I like the idea of Gabriel Jesus as that Martin Odegaard type of player. I mean, everything that Steve mentioned pretty much accurately sums up Martin Odegaard, and Gabriel Jesus has a lot of those qualities as well. And I also agree, I don't really see Saka being able to drop into that position. I also don't think you should be moving Saka when he's so good on the right. Then I've heard rumors about Sterling possibly going to that role, but we don't really know how he's fitted into the side. I know he's an experienced player, and last week we were raving his praises. So personally, for me, I think Havertz would be the best option to go into that position. I thought Havertz would arguably just take over from Rice as the 8, but now with Rice and Odegaard out, it's actually giving Arteta a bit of a headache. But yeah, I think Havertz will fit in nicely as the 10, which I think is possibly is going to happen. I think Havertz is going to be the 10 for this weekend.
Yeah. Melvin, Martin Odegaard out. First question, how much of a loss is Odegaard to this team?
Right, big loss, especially away from home. especially because we play quicker away from home, and sometimes some of these through balls are terrific. But if you're asking me who to replace him, I would put, I don't know if you've mentioned it, I'll put Sterling out wide and put Saka in that number 10 next to him. I think that'd be phenomenal, those two together. Speedy, tricky, and he cuts inside all the time anyway, Saka. And to give him the option of going both sides past the player, I think it'd be fantastic. I would trust Saka in that position, very much so. And I know that Odegaard tackles back more than any other player. We're not going to get that from any of our squad. And I know that he flirts with the left-hand side. We won't have to do that on Sunday. We won't do that. That'd be something that would be missing from our game, whoever we play there. I would definitely have Saka. Saka and Sterling on that right-hand side, I think could be really terrific. So that's what I would do.
All right. And so you drop Saka in that number 10 position, yeah?
Yeah.
All
Definitely.
Right.
And I'll keep Havertz up front because he's not a midfield player. He's all right when he gets the ball in midfield from time to time and he drops back, but you can't have him dropping back the whole time because we'll lose their potency up front. We really would. He's got a presence up front, Havertz, and we'll miss that if we don't play him up front. And who's the rest of the midfield going to be? Partey and Jorginho, yeah? Is that what you're saying?
Whoa. Jump in the gun there, Melvin. It's just,
sorry.
that question's not out yet.
Rewind.
It's all right.
Is there perhaps a chance for, sorry guys, sorry to interrupt, a chance for Zinchenko to move into that 8? I mean, we know he's not that good defensively, but he's pretty good on the ball, and we've seen Arteta use him possibly in a more advanced role. I just think Zinchenko as an 8 isn't a bad shout because that just gives us a little bit of defensive quality, but as well, he's so good on the ball, progressing the ball forward. I just think Zinchenko could be a very good 8.
Yeah, I would like to see both Zinchenko and Timber for going midfield because I think they've both got qualities that can play there. But right now, it's not a defensive position. I think we need someone who's got a bit more vision. Zinchenko's very good at passing. I think those long balls into the box and those long diagonal balls, I think he's got in abundance. But I'm not sure he's got that range looking for that short ball. But yeah, no, look, there's options there, and I don't think, although it is a big loss, I know we don't really want to see Kai Havertz dropping because he's doing so well up top, but I see him as being a potential 10. I see Trossard could potentially play there. I don't mind the idea of Gabby Jesus. And especially when you've got someone who's a bit like Havertz and can move around a bit. They're not quite restricted to playing as the out-and-out centre forward. They can move about. They can be a bit more fluid. So it's options. But yeah, no, it's a big loss with Odegaard. Like I said, I think, yes, the creativity side we're losing out on, but it's that work rate off the ball, the way he cuts out passes, interceptions. He's one of the best in the league. And I think it goes unnoticed quite a bit. Melvin, I asked the question of the guys before. Do you think that Arteta should look at ways to potentially withdraw players out of the squad, not force them, but if there's an injury, like a slight knock, it may be a sort of put the pressure on? Because you saw at the end of the Brighton game that Martin Odegaard wasn't as fluid as he normally was. I think he went down with a slight knock, but still managed to play 90 minutes in the game prior to the one that he got injured. Do you think Mikel Arteta should look to be a bit smarter the way that Sir Alex Ferguson was when he used to get those players to withdraw? I mean, I think Ryan Giggs played about 4 games for Wales that weren't competitive.
Over 48 years, yeah. I think that, no, we should be. I mean, I'm not saying cheat, but other teams cheat, right? We should be a bit smarter. Definitely a bit smarter. Why did he have to go, Odegaard? It's not jogging backwards either. You saw the way he played against Brighton. He wasn't 100% the last 40 minutes of the game. He couldn't pick his feet up. He should have gone off. I said, I don't remember. He should have gone off anyway. Then he wasn't producing. Not his fault. He's got a knock. Be honest. So I've got a knock and go off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I think we just play it too fair. We just do it all the time, you know, to the letter of the law, as they say. We're the only club that plays it to the letter of the law and gets booked to the letter of the law. So I suppose that's consistency by everybody, isn't it? No, we should protect our players. They don't own our players, these national teams. They don't pay for their wages. They don't buy them. If they get cropped, they've got someone behind them coming in. No, it's all wrong. It's all wrong. The club should have total power over who goes, and it should get to the point where they don't have to be injured to get them out. The only thing is the national teams will go, oh, well, you won't play for us again. Well, then the players got to stand up and go, no, I want to play, boss, or I don't want to play, and that might cause friction as well. So, but we play it too fair, unbelievably, and it's cost us so much. I mean, the game's on at the moment. Is it now? The game is it tonight or tomorrow?
Yeah, the game's tonight.
Is Rice and Saka still walking? Are they still upright? Are they? Because I'm a bit worried. I mean, every time Arsenal go, every time there's an international break, you're going like that. Even if you're not watching the game, you're waiting for some bad news.
You're wincing every challenge.
Yeah, you go, oh my God. Oh, Calafiore got injured the other night. We don't know if he's fit for Sunday. I'd love to see him play a full game. He could play left or midfield, not being funny, instead of Rice. He could do that job. Not as good as Rice, all right, but he could do that type of job. He's physical. He's got a great reading of the game from what I've seen. He's 2-footed. He could do that game. He can move forward with the ball. He can pass a short one, give a long one. I think he's terrific. When I saw him against France the other night, he was top draw. Absolutely top draw.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, with Calafiori, I agree with... I'd like to see Calafiori play against Tottenham as well. But I think we should possibly play him as a left back against Tottenham.
Possibly instead of good.
Because look, you know, we do our left backs invert. You know, so if you bring in if Calafiori was to play left back and he inverts into that midfield, that gives us that, you know, that stability of Jorginho and Partey if that's the way people go. And then you've got Calafiori coming in, you know, and he can use those legs because he can just bomb through the midfield. He can pick his passes, and that's like having a Rice.
I'll tell you something, Steve. What I like about him as well, to pick him against Tottenham at White Hart Lane, is I don't think anything worries him. I think he goes straight in there. He's not like he's a bit nervous because he's playing. I think he's one of those 22, 23. Yeah. He gets on with it. He's played big games, you know, all his career. He's played in big games for Italy and all that. I think he just gets on with it. You're not have to worry about he might freeze on the day, so let's not pick him. He's only had one in a big game.
Yeah. No, I just think tactically that would make sense. You know, with the injuries that we got in midfield, with the Mourinho not there. I know Timber been playing there on the left, and he can come in and he can do the, you know, the same type of job. I just think in this particular game, where Rice and Mourinho are not going to be there and Odegaard's not going to be there, all those three you would say are creative. Jorginho and maybe Partey not so creative. Having Calafiori come into that middle will give us that little bit more creativity. So, yeah, but Timber could do the same. You know, it's either or, really.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see. Simon said Jorginho should play in midfield. He gets the best out of our wingers, brings them into the game, and dictates and controls the midfield. Do you feel like this could be a game, Bjorn? Do you feel like this could be a game for Jorginho to come in and dictate the play against Tottenham?
Yeah, I mean, easily for him. When you consider the experience Jorginho as a Champions League winner, is there any game that's like too short for him to come in? I think Jorginho is the obvious choice. Is he going to take Partey's position? Obviously not, because I think Partey's kind of settled into the 6. So then you'll get to come into the 8. But the only problem with Jorginho is, does he have the legs for the 8? I'm not necessarily sure if he will be able to track back as efficiently as someone like a Jurriën Timber or a Ricardo Calafiori. I agree with Steve. I would love to see Calafiori play a little bit more, but I prefer just to see the settled back 4 with Timber in the side. And then from there, having someone like Jorginho actually come into the team, it wouldn't make too much of a difference. I don't want to see too many changes either. I don't want to see us come into the Tottenham game having like 4 or 5 changes, especially changes we don't need to make. So as far as Jorginho goes, he can definitely come in. It just depends, like I say, it depends on his legs. I'm a bit concerned with him as an 8 as a box-to-box. I would rather have one of the younger guys come in. Even, like we say, maybe Ricardo Calafiori could do that role for us. I think possibly at this moment in time better than Jorginho. I prefer him as the 6. He can there dictates the play. He's got nice when the ball comes from the centre backs, then he can choose where he wants to play, which side he wants to go. Not necessarily sure how he would do as an 8. So it's a bit of a concern for me. I'm not too sure what the rest of the guys think, but I'm not too sure if Jorginho as an 8 is now the best option for us.
Steve, go on, Mel.
Sorry, Bjorg, to be against to disagree, but I would prefer, when you talk about legs, I would prefer Jorginho to play instead of Partey. Partey's legs seem to have gone. They seem to go after 50 minutes. They really do.
Yeah, that's fair.
That worries me.
That's fair.
Steve, where do
So-
you feel like Jorginho could play in that 8?
I mean, it's not ideal. I do. I think he can play there. It's like I've already. I think they could both play together. I think we can play Partey and Jorginho in this one. You know, it's Tottenham away. You know, we're not going to have the ball all the time. You know, there's times we're going to be putting under pressure. So look, you know, if Rice was the main guy, it'd be Rice and Partey, and Rice and Partey would be. You know, when Tottenham got the ball, they would be dropping, you know, to help protect the back four, you know, just as normal, because that's what Rice is. He's also a number 6. You know, Partey's a number 6. He's just at Rice now. You know, we play him in the 8, and he can be more attacking. But look, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. I just feel that Jorginho and Partey got the experience. It's away. They've played there before. They both played in big games. I just think they need the help. They will need help from with players who have got legs, and that's why I said at the beginning of the show that I would like to see Jesus maybe playing just in front of them, because there's no doubt that guy has definitely got legs, and possibly Calafiori, if fit, maybe playing as a left back because he's got legs. Look, I think if Timber plays, whoever plays in that 10, I think it's going to be okay. I'd like similar to what Bjorn said. I don't want to mess it about too much. Personally, I'd play Partey and Jorginho together. I think they'd be fine together. And all they've got to do really is win the ball and give it to our players who can do the business. You know, and you know, we ain't really got to ask them to do much more. But it's Tottenham away. You know, we will be under pressure. I don't think we're going to be losing much by playing two probably what you would call defensive players. They're both good on the ball. They're both good at playing the ball out from the back. Jorginho probably that little bit better than Partey. It's not ideal in being in that 8 position, but I would play him, and I think with the help of Ben White, you know, Saliba coming out, you know, Calafiori or Timber moving into the midfield, I think it'll work.
I mean, I've mentioned it before, but this is a perfect game. Nothing's perfect. A very good game for me for Sterling. I can't wait to see him play for us. And I think when we're under pressure at White Hart Lane, he will give us an out. He'd be there, hit that ball, hit a 20, 30-yard ball, he'd be on it. And all of a sudden, we've got a chance. The thing that happened against Brighton the other week, where it was panic stations, Mr. Mannering, it was one of those things, don't panic Mr. Mannering, wasn't it? It was so bad. We didn't have an out ball. We had no one to give it to. And I think Sterling goes out, can hug the line or cut inside to get the ball or for channels. You know what's quite strange? I'm sitting here tonight, right? And I feel okay. A couple of days ago, if you'd have told me that I knew Rice was not playing, but Odegaard can't play, this, that, I'd have gone, oh my God, White Hart Lane, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. What we're going to do, worries me. I feel quite confident now.
I don't feel like that. I've never felt like that. It's Tottenham.
Steve, but the thing is, if you've got Odegaard missing, who is probably your best midfielder you've got. You've got Rice missing, who, is level on it, does a different job in midfield. Best type of midfielder you've got. Two in the same game. You're thinking, oh my God. And the guy you've bought.
No, I don't feel like that. I think we should beat them. I think they're pants.
Yeah, but
I think we should beat them.
Steve, I feel like that now. But when I was getting the old, every time I looked up, another guy was falling down. I felt quite depressed and thinking, why on today of matches of all? I mean, I was round at my niece on Sunday, and we're watching the England game, and someone goes about take Rice off, and someone goes, well, he's not playing on Sunday. My brother-in-law was a Spurs supporter. Didn't realise. What do you mean he's not playing? He goes, no, he got sent off, didn't he? And he was so excited. And I thought, oh my God, oh dear. It's like,
Yeah.
But now I don't feel that uptight about it. We've still got a great chance. I still fancy it in a fun kind of way.
Yeah.
Well, the PGR MOL said we've got to wear black. So hopefully it's not our funeral. It's Tottenham's funeral. That's why they told us to wear black.
Have you heard what they've done? Kieran, have you noticed what they've told us we might have to do as well? They've told us I've never heard it. You've been told what kit to wear. They say it all depends what the weather's like. But if it rains, we're not allowed to wear studs.
What?
Yeah, they Arsenal aren't allowed to wear studs.
Well, it does surprise me.
Only Arsenal.
It's not biased at all. Not biased.
Do you know what? Just going up, talking about. I get. Look, I want to see Sterling. I want to see Mourinho. I want to see Calafrio. I want to see all our new players. I don't know if it's the right. I can't. Someone might be able to look. The kids Google it or whatever one's speaking or something. But
England 4, West Germany 2. If you're asking, I'm sorry.
No,
West Germany.
But we Havertz was man of the match against Tottenham last year. He absolutely he battered them.
Yeah, and a lovely ball to Saka for that.
Right, he battered them. Right, they were scared of him. They could not handle him. I don't want to see him in the midfield for that.
No, I agree.
Just for that particular reason. Just so that it's in the Tottenham defenders' head, like Van der Ven, Romero. Right, he absolutely they couldn't handle him. Right.
Yeah.
So they're going to be worried about him again. I need to see him there. I need to see. I think Bjorn's right. I got a funny feeling that Arteta will play him there, but I don't know. I've got a funny feeling it was Trossard on the left. I think it was Havertz up front and Saka on the right. I think that was our front three against Spurs. And we battered them. Right, we absolutely. But it should have been 5-0 up the first half. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. I agree with you. I'd also I'd prefer to see Havertz stay up front. I just think the fact that he was initially brought in as a midfielder and he can play in that role, he's probably going to drop back into the midfield. It's going to be for my opinion, I think it's between him and Trossard to take over Odegaard's position. One player we haven't mentioned though that I think could possibly, especially if Tottenham decide that they're going to have a proper go at us this weekend with all the injuries we have, is Martinelli. I think Martinelli, if Tottenham will keep pressing us and pushing us, Martinelli with his speed and his counter-attacking capabilities, I think could just be a standout player that might just make the difference for us over the weekend.
It's a good point. There are plenty of other options there as well. Steve, where do you see Arsenal's Tottenham's biggest threat? Where could be a slight worry against this Tottenham team? And you can go off what you've seen so far this season. You can say there's no worry at all. I've seen this Tottenham team and they're not impressed me whatsoever.
Yeah, pretty close to that, mate. I mean, they was awful last week. I watched probably their first full game I'd actually
get. Who they placed, Steve? I can't remember.
Newcastle.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
They played quite well the first half, to be fair, but in the end, Newcastle, deserved the win. They was half decent against Leicester. They ended up, letting it go in the last minute, and they beat Everton comfortably, and Everton are absolutely trash. So when you base Tottenham on that early season form, why we should absolutely batter them? We should. If we come away from anything less than 3 points against Spurs, then. Yeah, if we're doing a post-match after, I'm not going to be happy one little bit. We haven't got any worries, and look, and Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, no, look, they had a decent half against Leicester, which they drew, and a decent half against Newcastle, which they lost. That's Tottenham's season. Yeah, for me.
Yeah.
You know, we're going for the title. You know, we're Man City's nearest challengers. We should be going to what, you know, even with our injuries that we got. You know, and look, let's not forget, like, you know, Son, Heung-min Son. We owe you one, boy. You know what you did? You know what you did, boy.
I forgot about that. I totally forgot
You
about
know
that.
what you did.
I don't think
You
got
are
it in.
you are getting Saliba and Gabriel on Sunday, boy. Mr. Heung-min Son. You know what you did. Don't give me that. I didn't. You missed on purpose, mate. We all know he did. Right. So he's probably their main danger, but he won't be doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know, what else they got? Solanke.
I think we've kept him quiet for the last couple of games, Son, to be fair. Bjorn, one of the other guys on the other pod said that Garth said Solanke could be one of the worst signings of the transfer window. It's 70 million, 3 games in, not scored a goal. Could this be like with all those stats that come out? Not yet scored a goal until they play Arsenal.
Yeah.
Could this be one of those days against Dominic Solanke?
It feels like it's written in the stars, doesn't it? I mean, Solanke, obviously, we've seen what he's done in the Premier League in the past couple of years, so we know he's a quality player. And it just seems like, this is possibly going to be the game. I mean, we saw it with Anthony when he joined Man United, scoring his first 20 minutes, then going on and not being able to finish again since then. So it just seems like Solanke is going to be possibly score this game. But we know with our defense, the one area that we are solid in is our defense. Yeah. So I don't see him being too much of a threat for us, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think he's going to be a terrible signing. I do think he's going to come good for Spurs. Spurs just create too many chances for him not to score a couple of goals. And even if he only ends up scoring about 15 for them, I think they'll be quite pleased with that, especially considering where they came from with Richarlison and those guys. So I don't think Spurs fans, I do think he's going to be quite good, and I do think Spurs fans will be happy with him. Whether or not he scores against us, I doubt it. I really do doubt it. I think the only one that is a big threat for us is Song. I think the left-hand side is a little bit of an issue. Dogi is also very good. So the only area I'm a bit worried about is the left-hand side. But as far as Solanke goes, I'm not too worried too much. I think Gabriel and Saliba have got him covered.
All right. Mel, where do you see a threat coming in from Tottenham?
From getting a dodgy penalty.
A referee decision.
Yeah, the ref we got is not not happy with the ref. Mind you, no ref on that league, but this one particularly. No, I just they do get their fair share of dubious ones against us at the Lane, don't they? Even some at the Emirates. It just worries me. That knocked me last time we played Brighton when that Rice going back to the Rice situation again. It just thinks you can't ever win. You just can't ever win. Anything can be done. They put the goalposts now when we play on wheels so they can move them quicker. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. You're thinking, if you see a potential penalty, potential sending off, even if it's a 10% one, and it's against Arsenal, you're thinking that could be a sending off. I mean, it's Arsenal. It could be a sending off. There's no, it could happen, and it does. Invariably, it does. So on pure football, I think we're good enough. As long as we've got it up here, we've done it the Brighton game. That 20 minutes of rubbish we played, and we panicked like anything, worry us. We finished the game slightly better. So we just got to, forget about injuries, forget about the last performance, which was poor. And it wasn't just the sending off that cost us, it was our performance before and after that. Although the sending off obviously had a big impact, but we could have still done something with it. So I just hope we just get on it straight away. And like we've done the last couple of seasons, we've from start to finish, we have dominated at their place. The crowd, every so often, they won a corner, they went berserk with the Tottenham crowd because that's all they ever got. And we've just got to keep doing that. We gave them a chance last year. We gave that dopey goal away and we gave that dopey penalty away. But they never, other than before they scored those 2 goals, and that was quite late into the game. What, 10 minutes to go was it, Steve? They got the second goal, Spurs.
Yeah,
They never looked dangerous. I think Son had one chance. Other than that, we could have all been sitting there smoking cigars. And I think the year before that, we murdered them as well. They didn't get close to us. So it won't be as easy this year on the basis that Rice is not playing and Odegaard's not playing, but we're good enough to still beat them. And I think we will.
All right.
I'm not.
Steve, what's your starting lineup to play against Tottenham?
After all my talk, I'll probably go really sort of like negatively when I change it all up. Well, obviously Raya would be in goal. Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel. I don't know. People saying they're calling for Calafiori already to take over Gabriel centre back. I don't know why.
Everyone's better when they're not available or not in. Like, come on, like Gabriel had a great partnership with Saliba last season.
Yeah, you can't
already.
I'm not saying that he won't.
Just a new toy.
It's what we want, isn't it? We want players to challenge other players.
Yeah.
To be even better than them or make that player in front of them better. Mm-hmm. So but the trouble is Arsenal fans can't see it as a good thing. It's always like either one or
the other. Yeah. One out. Like your mum trying to get rid of your old pair of trainers when you got new pairs. You don't realise you could wear your old pair to play football.
Yeah. Or you have you have a favourite. You're just not just for the better of the team. Whoever plays, it don't matter. No, it has to be your favourite player. That's Arsenal fans. It's fans in general. But anyway, I'm waffling. But I'd still play Gabriel. Left back, I don't know. If Calafiori was fit, I'd think about it. If Timber, if we had our normal midfield, it'd be Timber straight away.
What's your thoughts on Calafiori though? Why do you want to see him come in?
I just feel we give us something more than Timber in the midfield, going forward, which we're going to lack because I'm championing for Partey and Jorginho to start.
Yeah,
and I know mostly that's quite defensive. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at the best attacking option to play as a left back who can invert. So for me, that would possibly edge it being Calafiori rather than Timber. Although they can, do you know what I mean? It's like toss of a coin. Mm-hmm. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go for Calafiori. If Rice was back next week against City, Timber would be back in. But just due to the fact that this is the way I'm going to set up, I probably would play Calafiori if fit. But obviously Timber it would be no big deal. So Calafiori, Partey, Jorginho in the 8. I think he can do that job with Calafiori coming in, and I'd stick with Jesus in front of him. I think he can do that job. Saka, Havertz up top, and then on the left, I like the idea of what Bjorn said about Martinelli. He would push. Because I think he was injured that game. That's why he started. I'd go Martinelli, Havertz, and Saka, and get the crosses into Havertz. If Jesus is in the middle, I think it takes a little bit of away of our plan B, because in the air he's not as good as Havertz. So and he will be able to compete better with Romero and Van der Ven, because they're big and strong centre backs. I think Havertz can beat better than Jesus would. So that would be my team: Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Partey, Jorginho, Jesus, Martinelli, Havertz up top, Saka on the right.
All right. Bjorn, what's your starting lineup for the North London derby?
Is it my lineup or the one I predict that Arteta's gonna play?
Your lineup.
My lineup. Okay, perfect. So pretty much the same as Steve. I don't think Raya's number one cemented. There's no changes gonna happen there. Ben White, Saliba, and Gabriel got their spots also nailed down. I like the idea of Calafiori, but I just think Timber doesn't get enough credit for how good he was pre-injury last year. I mean, when he came in and during preseason last year, he was the best thing since sliced bread. He was going to revolutionize our defense, and I still think Timber is definitely, for me, the first choice left back at the club currently. So I'll stick with Timber. I also like the idea of keeping some consistency with the back four. Then Party as the 6. I don't think Gotzeto's going to change anything there. Also, I think Party should stay there. Now, here comes where it comes a little bit interesting. Whereas I think, I believe that I would like to see Havertz stay up front, but I just think for the betterment of the team, I think Havertz back in the 8. Then we should see Trossard as the 10. Gabby Jesus up front. Then we'll see Martinelli on the left and Saka on the right. I think that's just, as far as the consistency of having players that have been in the team for a couple of seasons now, just going through. I want to see Sterling, obviously, but that's what you guys just mentioned about the new toy effect. Having the player that just come in, you just so desperately want to see him, but I don't think Arteta is just going to play him straight away. So I think Sterling will make his debut this weekend, but off the bench. Yeah, so I think my starting lineup would be Raya, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, Thomas Partey, then Havertz at the 8, Trossard in the 10, Gabby Jesus up front, Martinelli on the left, and Saka on the right.
All right. Melvin, what would your starting lineup be?
Slightly different. Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber. Yes, got to be, in my opinion. Now, this is where it gets a bit tricky for people that still want to talk to me. They may not want to after this. Jorginho, holding on the right of him.
In the six. Yeah.
On the right of him, taking Odegaard's place, Saka, like I mentioned before. On the left of him, Calafiore. On the wide left is Martinelli, because I think he'll have a lot of support with Calafiore going forward. I think it'll really, hopefully, get his confidence back. Havertz, and then on the right, I'll have Sterling. That is my starting. It won't be. It'll be a million miles away from that.
What? No Saka.
Yeah, Saka playing number
10.
Yeah. I think a midfield of Saka, Jorginho, and Calafiore. I think we keep the ball all day, and we'd be dangerous with Saka in midfield and Sterling on one side and Martinelli on the other. I think we'd be very dangerous on the break and actually just playing football. That's what I would do. Ain't going to happen. That's why I'm sitting here. But that is what I would love to see. It won't be anything like that.
That I mean, that would be a shock, Mel.
Yeah, I agree.
Steve, do you see Sterling playing any part in this game with his experience that he's had? Do you think he could get minutes in the North London derby for his debut?
Yeah. He could do, but I think he'd be playing. I think the only place at the moment, I think if he starts at all, would be on the left.
No, not starting, coming in.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Debut. Sorry, mate. Yeah, debut. Yeah. I'm thinking right from the off. Yeah, definitely, mate. I definitely think there's, after 60 minutes, I can well see him possibly coming on, and hopefully we're 4-0 up and we can bring him on, and he can show us what he's been learning. The few weeks that he's been there. Yeah. But yeah, I do, mate. I think he could prove dangerous. He can. I think he'd come on. He could come on for Saka. If he needs to give him a rest, or if he comes on for either like Martinelli or Trossard on the other side. I don't really want to see him in. I don't think we need. He's a 10. I don't think he really can play in that position, because the way Arsenal play when we play our players in front of the 6 and the 8, they have to do a lot of work. They have to get back. That really doesn't sort of. I don't think of Sterling as that type of player, so I don't see how you can play him in the hole. Like as if you would do a Jesus, or you would play a Odegaard. You could see them working hard, running back, being all over the place. Like this is what Arteta expects of players in that position. I don't think Sterling's that. So I can never see Arteta probably playing him in that position. But certainly on the right, on the left, mate, 60 minutes, yeah, and can definitely see him making his debut.
Shupo says, good evening, guys. I'd play Jorginho for Rice, play Havertz for Odegaard, and Jesus up front. Very similar to what's been said. I think a different Shupo, I think Bjorn said he'd go with Jesus in the 10, as opposed to dropping Havertz into that midfield role.
What about you, Kears?
What my lineup would be?
Yeah, because we've all gone three quite different lineups there, haven't we?
I'd go
very
for
different.
Raya in goal, Ben White at right back. I'd go for Timber at left back with Gabriel and Saliba in the middle. I would go with Jorginho and Partin in the centre of midfield. I would go with... You know what? I feel like I'd probably go with Martinelli on the... It's a tough one.
The difficult one, yeah.
All I can think about is what Arteta's going to pick. And I think
you, mate.
Yeah, I would go with... I'd want to go with, similar to Bjorn's, the rotation of either Havertz and Jesus is the 10 and 9 and 10. The only thing is, Jesus has only just come back from injury, so I just don't see that happening. And I see it being a Trossard who will come in the 10. I see Martinelli will play on the left, Saka on the right, and Havertz up front. So the change will be Jorginho for Rice, and it will be Trossard for Odegaard. So, and I think that's the most likely. Trossard's been playing and has been fit. He came in the last game, and I think it's probably lucky days for Martinelli and an opportunity for him to show that it's just a blip with form. So I think Martinelli should count himself lucky that he might get an opportunity on Sunday to prove that he should be in that position. Whereas Trossard gets moved from pillar to post, even though he seems to perform because he's so versatile. So yeah, it could be seen as a curse in his eyes, but it's also he's got to remember he's getting minutes as well. So I think that's the lineup we're seeing. It's probably what I would go with purely on the basis that Jesus is not match sharp, and although he can do bits and unlock defenses with his quality dribbling, I would like to see a sharper Jesus and someone and give him minutes towards the end. But I agree, I would love to see Sterling. I think these are sort of games that would be made for someone like Sterling with all the history that he's got, the fact that he's left Chelsea scoring and coming on in the North London derby and showing Arsenal fans what he's about would be a great way to start his Arsenal career.
That's a great
dream,
baby.
What a dream. It'd be a dream.
That's a great shout, though, isn't it? That's a great
and I can
shout,
see him
actually.
doing it because he's been there before. This game won't affect him in that sort of way with the atmosphere. He's been there some of the biggest games that any footballer can have, and he's done it and taken home the trophy. So I could picture him coming on and doing something in the game, and I think with the fact that he's clearly a player that Arteta trusts. Which I like the look of because it means that he'd give him minutes and he'd put him in place of someone like Saka when we see that he needs to come off. So yeah,
I think Sterling knows that as well, doesn't he? I think the fact that I think he knows.
He looks like he was at home. You see all the pictures. He looks at home. The fact that he put the house in his tweet and put the red with Arsenal. I know there's a connection with Sterling. He's a player that Arsenal have always liked from when Wenger was there, when he was at QPR. There was always rumours about Sterling coming to Arsenal. I think he knows that, and he does feel comfortable here. And I think with a lot of players who have potentially not come to Arsenal in the first place, they then realise once they are here what kind of a place it is, and that actually it does feel like home. We saw it with Odegaard, we saw it with Alexis Sanchez. We've seen it with so many players that they didn't come here. They didn't come here initially in the first place. That once they are here, they settle in really well and realise actually this is a great club to be at. So look, I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday. They're always good, and it's going to be a tough one. Steve, how do you feel like we should play it? Do you think we should take it to Tottenham? We have done in the last few times we played them, even with the injury losses. Do we go at Tottenham or do we play it a bit more safer?
No, I think we're too good to sit back. You know, I think we go at them. You know, we play a normal game. I don't think they're as good as what Aston Villa were. You know, and we was pretty front-footed against Villa. So I think, you know, the crowd will be behind Arsenal. You know, we'll also have the hostility from the Spurs fans, and you know, we know what this Arsenal team's like nowadays. You know, I think we'll lap that up. I think they'll be scared of us. I think the time's come now where I think Tottenham fans and I think the teams. You know, we talk about the old, you know, the in the tunnel thing. I generally think teams are scared of us, and I think I look at Tottenham's players, and I can generally think them being frightened to play us, and that's even without Rice, you know, and without Odegaard, you know. I think there'd be fear. Yeah, I just think we go at them. I think we take the game to them. It's what we did, you know, pretty much last year, and we was 3-0 up, you know, pretty quickly. Could have been 5, so I think we'll do the same again. Yeah, we'll play our own game. We'll obviously keep it tight when need be. We'll press, you know, when they've got the ball, we'll press them high up. That's an interesting thing as well. Odegaard's very good at pressing. You know, obviously, you know, something we're not going to have because he's not there. He's one of the best pressers in that position in the league. I think Martin Odegaard. So whoever's going to do that, going in that position's got to be able to do that. Can Trossard do that? I don't know. Maybe we've got other players who Havertz can do it, and I know Jesus certainly can do it. But yeah, just go at them. It's Tottenham, for God's sake. They're not. You know, we're a different kettle of fish these days. You know, we're arguably, you know, we're City's, you know, challengers now, only challengers. Wherever we go, you know, we'll play our own game, and our own game is pressing high from the front and taking it to them, and hopefully we're a few goes up, and hopefully we can bring a few players on, and I think we'll do that.
Bjorn, how do you think we should take it to Tottenham? Do you think we should take it to them, play conservative, sit off, hit them on the counter? How should we play this derby?
We can't be conservative. That's the only problem. I mean, Man City all look like they're going to steamroll the title again. So if we have any hope of getting into that, at least challenging them for the title, we're going to need to be putting up a performance that's like a title-worthy performance. So we're going to need to go out and actually set out to beat them. And I agree with Steve. I think we are going to set out to beat them. We are on a different level at the moment, even with the players we have on our bench that are going to come in now into the side. I think they are a different kettle of fish. They're a different caliber. And I can only see it going one way. I don't see Arteta making, like I even said, that's why I don't think Arteta would make too many changes to his starting 11, because I do think we have a style of play that he wants to implement now consistently in every match. And I see that happening against Tottenham as well. I see us taking it to Spurs fully. Our players are going to be hyped up for this game as well. So it's one of our big games of the year. So I can only see it going one way. It's interesting though, because it's going to be Spurs' cup final. This is the only game they really care about in the year. So they're going to be going out full force as well. And it's going to give us, the only thing is we need to think about it cleverly, because it's going to give us opportunities on the counter. Spurs aren't going to sit back at home against us. They're going to want to press. They're going to want to push forward. They're going to want to score goals. Also, they're going to want to get revenge on us for last season. So the counter is possibly going to be our best option to actually score a goal. But I do think we need to take it head on. We need to tackle them, and we need to just implement our style of play and completely dominate them from the get-go. I think that's the only way we can do it.
Yeah, I agree. Mel, how would you play this game? Taking it to Tottenham?
Yeah, definitely take it to Tottenham. I think defensively we can afford to attack them, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely attack them. Yeah. Take everything away from them. Take the crowd away from them. Take momentum away from them. Control the game. We've got to, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
I do think like people are sort of it's 3 games gone at the minute. I just with what Bjorn said. You know what I mean? I've just got to like put give my little thinking on this. I don't think Man City are going to run with it. I don't think they've been. I think Haaland's been unbelievable at the start of the season. He's a freak. He's an alien. We all know what he's going to do. Yeah, look, it's 3 games. There's a lot of people saying the league's over already, and we've like played 3 games. We beat Wolves on the opening day. We beat Aston Villa on the opening day. We drew at Brighton. If we had drew against Aston Villa and beat Brighton, then people will probably be saying, "Oh, we've had a great start." But because we've had that last game at home where we drew against Brighton, people are saying, "Oh, it's we've got no chance. It's City's league again." I don't believe that whatsoever.
My only fear with that is we know City are usually slow starters in the league, so they only pick up towards the end of the season. So if they start in like this now, and they don't have Rodri in the side, they don't have Foden, these players still need to come back. I mean, it's going to be a difficult task for us if we don't. We need to be in my opinion, from the first week, we need to be showing our intent as well that we do want to challenge for the title. And I think we have. I think that if we didn't draw against Brighton, it also would be a completely different story. I mean, 3 wins from 3. Every Arsenal fan would be very happy. We'd be cheering. My only fear is that if we do pick up a few losses early on, are we going to be able to get those points back? Because like I said, even Liverpool look very strong this year again. So it's not just us. I think Liverpool will also be in the hunt. So it's just, I don't know, it's a very scary situation to be in. And I think we need to at least be beating Tottenham, because then the next game is Man City. It'll also give us a bit of momentum going into the City game.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we need to beat Tottenham. The way the fixtures have panned out, it's awkward, isn't it? I mean, who did Man City? I think they beat Chelsea, didn't they? That was a good win. Then they played Ipswich. I mean, Ipswich are Ipswich, aren't they? And West Ham. I mean, I watched that game. They weren't great in that. They were great. I watched the full 90 minutes. They weren't great. Second half. They got the winner that took it to 3-1, but the second half, West Ham could have had 3 goals. So I'm not. Let's see.
All right, we will see. I think we can get them on the counter with their crazy high line guys like Martinelli, Sterling, Havertz. We can hurt them on the counter. I agree. I agree with the rest of the guys. We take it to them, get the early goal, and then that leaves Tottenham. We know what they're like. They're going to be very, very open. They're going to want to come at us, and we can hit them on the break every single time. I think we could absolutely give them an absolute thumping if they're going to keep on coming at us the same way they're for all these other teams. They could be in trouble. Before we go, Steve, what's your score prediction for the game? And who do you think would be a key player?
I'm going to go 3-0 to Arsenal. And I'm going to go Havertz again. And I think he'll score again. So he started the season well. So yeah, look, if this, we're going man to man here. Do you know what I mean? It should be 3-0. Do you know what I mean? They've got nothing that fears me.
Bjorn, what's your score prediction and who's your key player?
2-0, and I think Saka is going to be the standard. I think he's been the standard all season so far. I can really see it continue them. I think he's going to get a goal, and then a goal from a corner, possibly being Gabriel scoring the second. But yeah, I think Tottenham weak at the corners. We know Vicario can't really catch the high ball, so I can see us definitely scoring from a corner and Saka being my standout for the game. Goal and assist for Saka.
All right, we've got a full script from Bjorn. Melv, what are you giving us?
I'm going with 2-0 as well for us. And the standout players going to make all the difference. We probably won't even play Sterling.
Sterling. It's Sterling.
All my chips are on Sterling this week, boys.
His Arsenal career.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd like to see him. I really would like to see him start. I would. But I just don't think Arteta's going to do it, does he?
No, I don't see him starting, but I do see him coming on.
Yeah.
What I would like to see is Namweri coming on with 10 minutes to go. It means we're in a very good position.
I'd love to see when he's looking on fire so far this season as well. Scored an absolute weldy. Nearly scored a weldy yesterday. Again, another player I'd definitely like to see this season.
Anybody be disappointed if Arteta comes out with something unusual and starts Namweri in the 10, because that's what he is.
I'd love to see him play. I wouldn't think
I want to see him.
I'll be excited, but
concerned.
I mean, if you if you're bringing in a Wanyeri when you've got a Trossard there, I worry for Trossard's mental state
Trossard's
for the
not a
rest of the
10 though, in
season.
all fairness, Kieran.
But he's not an 8, and he's played there. He seems to play every position. He's not a striker. He's played there. He comes in because he's the man that can do the job.
I didn't see it, but I will remember the game. We had a debutante play for us away at White Hart Lane, and a couple of my Spurs mates go, "This guy you've got has taken over from a very famous player. Looks unbelievable." You know who it was?
Go
on. Paul Davis. Made his debut away at Tottenham.
How old was he though?
93. No, I don't know. He was very young. He weren't no 18. I don't think he was 18.
Because back then it was like 23, too young to be in England team. That's what it used to be.
But it was his debut. You know, they had to find him a pair of boots. It was his debut.
Yeah, I mean, like they say, like big games make big players, and this is the type of game where people would, you could put in, and then where like Liverpool put in an Owen, and Everton put in a Rooney, and Manchester United put in a Rashford, didn't they? When they was like 17.
Don't remind us about Rashford.
Rooney.
Rooney's as well.
Rooney, you're right. Rooney.
They were against Arsenal. They were against Neil Mellor. They were against Arsenal.
Oh, Mellor, yeah.
Yeah,
he should have given up football after that.
Do you see what I mean?
Oh,
he peaked against us. There's a
and
lot
also,
of players. John Flanagan. I remember he had one of the greatest games I've ever seen from a new, about 19, right back at Liverpool. I was like, who's this kid?
The greatest.
Scrawny little kid.
That's why Solanke's scoring. That's why Solanke's scoring this weekend.
But what about, how can it be, you talk about the great footballers who score hat-tricks against us, like Shearer, Owen, Fowler. We had bloody, what's his name? The robot man, Peter.
Oh, Peter Crouch. I mean,
he's got a hat-trick against us.
It could be worse.
What is going on?
Peter Crouch has probably scored some of the greatest variety of goals the Premier League's ever seen.
Yeah, but a hat-trick against us. Come on, that should be banned.
I'd take Peter Crouch's hat-trick over Neil Miller's solitary goal
in the last
all
minute.
Day long.
In the
all
last
day
minute.
long. He peaked at Liverpool there, and I think he ended up at Preston. No, and now he's a pundit for Sky Sports.
We ain't had really anybody like that, have we? Do you know what I mean? We got. It's funny, when you're a low, you get don't you think you get excited over like the worst players? Like, it's like Man United in that situation. Whoa, Josh Yazerki. Whoa, superstar.
Yeah, mate. I remember it was like, I can't wait to see Dennis Suarez play.
Yeah. Marion Shamak.
Kim Goldstrom.
Shamak could be
good player.
Bordeaux. He scored in the Champions League for Bordeaux. It's like,
yeah. He's going to be the new.
I did watch, and after one game at the Emirates, I thought, cool, he's good. He was the worst player this side of the Mississippi, Kolasinac.
No, he wasn't that bad.
In my brain, he was so defensive, Steve. He used to get the ball and give it back every time. When we kicked off, he used to face the wrong way. He was so, his confidence went. Ridiculous.
For me, it was Scalacci, Sebastian Scalacci.
Oh, he was, oh my God.
But Silvestre.
At the time, they to us. At the time, they were superstars.
Yeah.
At the time, they were
we
superstars.
did. Oh, Silvestre could do a job for Arsenal. No, it was terrible. It was terrible.
It's like we had like 2 years before, we had like Omri and Bergkamp. They were going, we got Schumacher. Did good signing that. Dennis Suarez.
To be fair, Schumacher actually kept Robin Van Persie out for a few games when he first started because he was scoring goals, but it didn't last long. It did not last long. Don't tell me about it. My brother bought me a signed Robin Van Persie shirt 2 days after he signed for Man United. It's still in the box though. It's still in the box.
And then you get people from other fans from other clubs say, "Yeah, was he? Maybe he was on the same lines as Dennis Bergkamp, weren't he?" You're like, "What?
No. Do you know what's worse than that? Do you know what's worse than that? When people try and tell you. Before Robin Van Persie was at Arsenal, they was like, I don't know. He's all right. The moment he went to Man United and scored a couple of goals, it's like, tell you what, he's turned out to be a better player than when he was at Arsenal. It's like, My
he
blood
was
is boiling. Blood is boiling. Shipman says, if you're good enough, you're old enough. Look at your Mal kid at Spain. In Spain. I think it's slightly different. It's slightly different.
Different position as well.
And I think the thing is with someone like Yamal come from the situation at Barcelona, and Spain probably felt that they had no other option to play Yamal after the season that he'd had at Barcelona. And Barcelona are in that situation because they have to go to their youth ranks. We was in that similar situation when we had to play the likes of Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe, and it led to Emil Smith-Rowe earning us 35 million out of it, and Saka being one of the best wingers in the world. So, look, I think generally those situations come out of desperation. We've seen it at Man United with Kobe Mainoo, but I don't want to be in a situation again where we have to play these players week in, week out. I want it to be an option, but I do want us to play those options when we have those opportunities.
They did it to Liverpool, didn't they, last season? To be fair to them, because they was going for a title. They did it when Trent Arnold went down injured. And
Bradley coming.
Connor Bradley.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, if we could all write a script for Sunday, it would be then Mary start, then Mary smash it, tear Tottenham to pieces. That's
Sterling comes on.
If Rice was available, I actually would have preferred to see Waneri start, because at least there's a little bit of extra leadership in the midfield, which I think we're missing now. But I agree. I would love to see Waneri get some minutes. I mean, I think he's highly rated at the club as well. I know Arteta's a big fan, so I'm a big fan as well. I think he's the future. He's the future of Arsenal. So
look,
exciting times for him.
True. If we got to see Charlie Patino, and Arteta was a big fan when he first came in, we still managed to get to see him, even though he wasn't quite at that grade. Then I think we're going to be seeing Waneri this season. I think we will.
I think he'll. You know, when he'll play him, I think we should trust Arteta to play him at the right time. You know, because as you mentioned there, like Charlie Patino, I mean, where ended up nothing, didn't they?
Miguel Aziz, the list goes on for these players that Arteta liked when he first came in, and realised that once they played men's football, they weren't quite at the level that Arsenal needed. So, look, I completely get it. And they see him every day in training as well. So, what better gauge to have when they're up against the players that at the level they're going to be playing against when they're playing against Arsenal first teams. Quick little one before we go. PGMO said Declan Rice's actions were clear, deliberate, impactful. Rice knows what he was doing. It's a gentle touch, but once the referee sees it, he had no choice. So that's the PGMO's stance on the red card last week. It was always going to be that way. It was always going to be that way.
You just can't.
It's like the police policing themselves, isn't it? What do you expect?
Look, look, I've already said, it's absolutely ridiculous. There's no.
You won't see that again.
There's no comment.
Again.
There's no. You will see it again. You will, because that's the law. That's the rules.
No, the thing is, I hope we see it again. I hope we see it again, but we need to see it. I need to see it. I need to see it on a second yellow. I need to see it against Man City and Liverpool, and then they end up dropping points. And it balances itself out. It don't balance itself out. I don't want to see it later on down the line when we're 3-0 up and we get the fourth goal through a dodgy decision.
Was Kevin not the same ref? Was Kevin not the same ref that didn't give Jolinton a red card when he clotheslined Neto against Newcastle versus Bournemouth?
I don't know if it's the same ref. I don't think it is the same ref. No.
Was it not the same ref?
It wasn't. No.
It was the same ref though. It was the same ref who, when against West Ham, when Paqueta did exactly the same thing as what Declan Rice did, and he did nothing. But he give Declan Rice a yellow.
I don't want to talk about it no more.
Same thing.
PGML's disgrace, lack of consistency is ridiculous. It certainly is. Thank you for joining us tonight, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight, Bjorn from Punch Drunk Arsenal.
Thank you for having me, Kieran. Appreciate it.
No, of course. Thank you for coming on tonight, Melvin.
Thanks, Kieran. Thanks a lot. Thanks, boys.
And of course, thank you for coming on tonight, Steve.
Cheers, mate. Pleasure.
All right, everyone in the comment section, thank you for getting your comments in there. Sheepo, good to see you again. Simon, good to see you as always. Good to see you there, Russ. Mohammed, hopefully you press that like and subscribe button. and everyone else has pressed that like button as well. Get in the comment section to let us know what your thoughts are on the show, some of your opinions as well. Get your starting lineup in the comment section and we'll reply to you as well. Hit that retweet button if you see us on Twitter. And if you are a regular to the show, press that like and press that share button. It all makes a big, big difference. Appreciate your support out there. Peace out, people. Stay safe. Oh, I always missed the button. And wash your hands.